And so there's basically three questions for us today. The first question is this: if everyone else would walk away from Jesus, would you still follow him? Someone once said that question should be addressed to anyone who makes a profession of faith and joins the church. They should be asked, listen, you're making a profession of faith, but we want to ask you this question. If everybody else walks away from Jesus, will you still follow him? Because you see, we're to the point in the story where we realize now that it's now about us. Will we finish the story? Will we tell the story? Will we live the story? Even if others walk away from Jesus, will we go and follow him into Galilee? And where is Galilee? See, Galilee is where the needs are in the world. It's where Jesus is. If you want to know where Jesus is in the world where the needs are, because he's still ministering. You know, Jesus said, you'll find me in the least of these, because as you've done it unto the least of these, you did it unto me. So where is Jesus? He's in the faces of the least of these. He's in the places of need. And so if we were to see Jesus, we would need to be where Jesus is, out in the world. And so the question is, if everyone else were to walk away from Jesus, would we still follow him? Would we still be going to where he is, out in the world? The second question is this: will we follow Jesus as he goes ahead into Galilee? Meaning the church. Meaning the church. In many ways we're doing that. Mighty Mondays, kids just right down the street. We have Baskets of Hope program, as you saw yesterday, distributed through Southeast Raleigh. We have the Dorcas Shop, which really was started at our church back in the 60s. And then as far away as Zimbabwe, in the prisons of North Carolina with Disciple Bible Study. Yes, we're following Jesus as he goes ahead of us into Galilee, but will we continue? Will we do even more so? Are we in all the places where he is? You see, he's in the places where those needs are. And the question is, will we as the church follow him as he goes ahead into Galilee? And the third question is simply this: what story will be written about us? See, that's the strange thing about this gospel story. I love to learn stories so I can get up, I can share them. And it's not just about memorization. It's not just about having a nice worship service. It's about when I learn a story, I find my place in the story. My God, I'm in the story. And so it's me now. It's me standing there with the young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right side saying, "You're looking for Jesus?" Of Nazareth, who was crucified? He's been raised, he's not here. But go tell his disciples and Peter that he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will find him, just as he told you. Now I'm in the story. Now I'm in the story. We're all in the story. And the story is continuing. And what kind of story will be written about us as we follow Jesus? The power of story is this. You start out as a listener. It's like going to a play. You're in the audience. And you're sitting there. And I don't know about you, but there are some plays that I've been in that have so moved me that I just didn't walk away from that play thinking, oh, that was a nice play. But I walked away thinking, I'm in that story. How many times have you gone to see a good movie and you didn't know it would be that good, because when you walk away, you're thinking to yourself, I saw myself in that movie. I was that person. What am I going to do now? I'm in that story. And I hope to God that when you heard this story today, Easter, that you realize you're not just in the audience anymore. You're in the story. That's the power of story. The power of story is that it brings us into the story. Where is Jesus? Well, he's out of the Bible. He's out of the grave. He's out of the building. And if I really want to see Jesus, I'll go up ahead where he's done in the Galilee. And there you'll see him. And you know that's true. How many times have you gone to a Bible study? Maybe you were leading it, helping to teach it, or maybe you were just going to it. You were going there. And you came home knowing you saw Jesus there. How many times have you gone out to serve someone, and you were doing it because that's what Jesus has called you to do. He's called you to follow him into Galilee. But by golly, when you were there, and you looked into that old lady's face, seated in the wheelchair, you came away saying, I saw him. That's where we'll see Jesus now. He's going ahead of us into Galilee. And so what sort of story will be told about us as we go into Galilee? The greatest chapters of the book, so to speak, have yet to be written. Because those greatest chapters are going to have you in it. There is no limit to what God can do in your life, in the life of our congregation. There's no limit to what he can do as we follow Jesus into the places of ministry. Perhaps today you may need some ministry. And the ministry is simply this. I love saying this. If God raised Jesus Christ from the dead, what can he not raise you up from? Or do you need the ministry today? Holly and I will be glad to pray with you about anything and everything. And we all need ministry. But also I want you to think about this. Are you in the story? If you are, come and say, Dear Lord, I'm following you from now on. From this point on, I'm following you. That's an act of discipleship. Let us stand.